Hi.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this week's Thop Matrimony session. We just started with Thop Matrimony sessions last week. So before getting started, everyone close your eyes and I'll recite our invocation. This is who we are. We are a team. Talented, energetic, astonishing mindsets. We can do anything and everything. We talk, we care, we respect each other. We see beauty in everything. We are connected by hearts and driven by values. We celebrate each other. We provide value to each other. We take ownership in everything we do. We have freedom to make mistakes. We learn as we go. We are mad to make a difference. We love disruptive ideas. We make impossible things possible. We are strong to question the creation. We believe in dreaming big. If we do not dare to dream big, are we really living? Why be ordinary when we can be extraordinary? We should be driven by our goals, not by egos. We can do it, we will do it. Let us not hope for the best. Let us be the best. This is who we are. Thank you. Everyone can open your eyes. Please come on video if you can. So last week in Thop Matrimony session, we got started by talking about cohabitation, and that topic is so big for us, right? So this week, just let's get started with small step. So I want you all to talk about what do you think of marriage, and how did you felt like your married life should be? So just keep thinking on those lines. Before that, I will share my thoughts on marriage. Okay. So before every time when the topic of marriage comes, I used to feel so scared, and I just don't like the word marriage itself. I just saw marriage as a stopping barrier for every girl, uh, from pursuing her goals or anything. So whenever the topic of marriage comes in my home, I used to get so much. I used to feel so angry, and just like that, we all know, when we go to our relatives' home or anything, they'll just keep asking, "When are you going?" Um, we get the topics, right? Okay, are you seeing groom to your girl, like that? And I used to immediately feel, why did I came here? Why, to just listen to them did I come here? I used to feel in that way, and I used to scold them within myself. I can't scold them outside, so I used to scold them just within myself. So I used to have that perspective, and even in my home, when they bring the topic of marriage, I used to give some stupid reasons, and I used to get angry, why are you bringing this topic, like that? But just after coming to the official, i i I was understanding, okay, marriage is not something that should not be talked, or that we should not think about. I started thinking, but still I used to be in that phase. Whenever the topic comes in my home, I used to get angry on my parents. But later, then I was understanding, and I just like, from the perspective where I was thinking that marriage stops everything for a girl, like, she can't do, she can't pursue her goals or anything like that. Now I just came into a perspective that no, like, there might be boys who will be supporting girls to pursue their goals, and every time when Shravan sir tells me about, I have so many conversations with Shravan sir regarding marriage, and Shravan sir totally changes my perspective. And whenever I talk with sir about marriage, I used to get some good good positive feeling about marriage. And I just, like, recently again I had a conversation with Shravan sir, and I was telling, sir, I'm so scared. Like, I don't know, will I be able to pursue my PhD? And like, it gets too late to get married. All those things I was talking, and Shravan sir is saying, "Why are you thinking that way? Right? You just get married now itself, and then you can even pursue PhD. Nothing can. You can still pursue PhD, like that sir was telling to me. So whenever sir talks to me about those things, I used to feel little easy. Okay, whatever it may be, life has that. I mean, uh, see, suppose now we are studying, that doesn't mean that we should not get married, right? Even after studying, when we go to work, we still have that we should still have that. Balance thing, like we will still strive to balance things. um like just because we completed our studies, that doesn't mean we will be able to handle family or anything. So whatever might be, we never know when is the right time to get married. It just happens at some points to every one of us in our lives. So this was my perspective, and that is how I changed my perspective from before coming into Thop E-Cell and after coming into Thop E-Cell. And all the crucial discussions that we have about marriage, relationships, they all changed my overall perspective of marriage. And yes, I still have some fears about marriage, but maybe we will learn things as we go, or maybe when we are really in that situations. So this is what I wanted to share. Now I want you all to share. Come on, raise your hands. Every one of you must talk, or else I'll call out your names and you have to talk. Come on, raise your hands. Yeah, Apu, go ahead.
Very well said, Ashwaka. So, I was I was naive about marriage thoughts till my like starting of BTech, because like I used to think marriage is just a celebration and never thought so deep into the life that after marriage we will have a different life, that you will have your spouse and all. But the actual understanding for me about marriage started in my BTech, from the starting of BTech, I can say, because then we used to have conversations with our parents. Like my parents used to tell, like, it's your wish, whenever you want to marry, but we will keep searching that person who will be in your life from now itself. And um, they were also very like conscious about it, that we have to talk about it, uh, because it is not it is not worth, if you like a Shravan sir says, it's not worth if you don't talk about it. And I used to have this same question, why to even talk about it? Because it just I used to think marriage as a thing that falls in place with time. But then I understood the importance of talking about marriage. Actually, when I really started talking about marriage with my parents, I understood the beauty of it. Because like this was never, and I should tell that my parents never told, after marriage you have to change like this, you have to change like that, or something. They were always like, now the generation has changed. Our time marriage, it was different. If we could make beautiful life out of our marriage, then in this scenario, it is even more easier for you, because like you will have matured spouses in your life, and you will be matured even. So it like they always used to say, like, you will have a beautiful life after marriage. So marriage was never a mental block in my mind, that after marriage I have to stop I have to stop some things, or my life might change. They always used to say, marriage is going to be a big celebration in your life, in such a way that your life will be will have some magic. You'll start experiencing some magic after your marriage. And um, and you will have another support system after marriage. So that's what, like, I mean, even like now these days I'm observing, and like in our houses these conversations come, right? ఇప్పుడైతే అవుతుంది, కానీ పెళ్ళయ్యాక ఇవన్నీ నడవవు అన్నట్టు అంటుంటారు కదా పెద్దవాళ్ళు ఎవరైనా, జోక్గా కూడా. సో లైక్ దే ఆర్, అంటే మై ఇప్పుడు మా నాన్నమ్మ వాళ్ళు, అమ్మమ్మ వాళ్ళు ఎవరన్నా అలా అన్నా కూడా, మై మామ్ అండ్ డాడ్ ఆర్ మెన్షన్, నో, ఇట్ లైక్, ఐ మీన్, they are not like telling that ఏమంటారు those things which were there in the past, because you are not in the same past where you have some rigid rules after your marriage life like that. It will be like it is always, and I started believing in that, and that's how I developed my mindset regarding marriage, that it is it is it will be as beautiful as you craft it. So it is all in your hands. And then I started understanding how marriage is beautiful. And like while we are talking, like when I am talking to Shravan sir or all of you, I just understood, yes, these might be not, so like not every situation we deal with, not every situation we talk may not come after your marriage life, but talking about them, discussing about them really gives me a lot of confidence that okay, whatever the situation might be, I will be able to deal with it, and I will not make it a mess. Like it is like if we don't really have this, I am saying this like a strong foundation for all of us in our minds, where we I mean, after seeing that video of Peter son something, I don't remember his name, but like then I really understood, okay, this is going to be something big in my life, and discussing about it, talking about it is very important. And how many of our friends or anyone will get the opportunity to talk about marriage, discuss these topics, right? Like I felt we are very fortunate that we have our friends and like same-minded people to talk these and share our thoughts about. Because here no one is going to like think or judge you with your thoughts. So yeah, I'm just loving it. Thank you, Ashok.
Wow, very beautifully said, Apurva. I was just remembering few points that I wanted to tell when you're talking, but you were talking about many points like support system, crafting, the way we craft ours. It's very nice, very well said. I mean, Apurva. Thank you. Uh, who is in the line? Is it Rohit or okay? Rohit, go ahead.
Yes, so very well said, Ashrita and Apurva. So I echo some of your points. And let us, like I'll call, instead of marriage, let us call it as Vivaha, because it has originated from that word, like it is called Vivaha because it is a meaning sacred union of people. So like from Vedanta. So I always want to learn what actually marriage or vivaha mean according to Vedanta or according to Indian Vedic scriptures, because there is so much even on this particular topic. So I think that I know only some part of it even that is also by looking at marriages happening in and around our families, right? So I'm very interested in this topic for the last 5 to 6 years. So only interested, but uh, because I wonder like how marriages happen. First of all, my interest towards Indian marriages got from the movie Varudu. If you know about Allu Arjun's movie, so 5 days marriage, right? 5 days vivaham, 5 రోజుల పెళ్లి. So I think like అలా ఉండాలనిపించింది ప్రతిసారి. If I think about my marriage, the day before yesterday also I was mentioning the same with my mother. Uh, చేసుకుంటే 5 రోజులు పెళ్లి చేసుకుంటాను లేకపోతే చేసుకోను. So yeah, because I like it, because there are so many things in Indian marriages happening, like every event we do in those 5 days has some meaning, has some meaning, Vedic meaning. Everything has its meaning. Like example, we show Arundhati Nakshatra, so it's all science. So everything was hidden. We have every reason for what we do in the Indian marriages. So I like it. I started liking it from then, and now if you see marriages, I don't I like, maybe people are doing it for 3 4 days, but still there is some part missing, I feel. And like if you talk about marriage matrimonies, the only thing I want to change for my marriage or for any marriages in the future generation, if people want to know my thoughts, I would go with these some of the following thoughts. Like One is like we do marriages. Like we submit, like if you want to marry like if you want to find a girl for a boy, so generally in what happens in our family, I tell you, so like what I know according to these things. So I'll tell what my thoughts are, what I see in my families, what they do if a boy wants a girl or a girl wants a boy. So they send their this profile. So they'll ask for biodata. First, Amike biodata or Abhike biodata. So biodata. I know I hope you all know this, but just I wanted to tell you again, so that I can make a complete sense, right? So first, they ask for biodata, which includes all the details, name, gotra and everything, or horoscope and everything, their father details, mother details, and everything of her or his details, right? So they make biodata and they make biodata and they send it to a matrimony, and so-called the matrimony business is growing big. Example, Shadi Anupam Mittal, he became an entrepreneur and he's sitting in the Shark Tank now. So he has this concept on marriage, right? So he built a system where two people can come together and uh, fix it, right? Like they can have a marriage or they can have a lifelong commitment. So this matrimony concept has become so, like, it got so much of attention over time, over the years, for the last maybe 10 years. So we send because we are like we only have certain people, like in our community, so we don't find much people. So if we pass on to a common platform for everyone, so we can get many people, like many common people. So now even like it has formed like even groups, like according to the community they have individual marriage matrimonies. So right, so according to their own communities, and later over time, instead of matrimonies, now they have WhatsApp groups free. So we can find a girl or boy for free. Earlier they used to pay for matrimony, but now it's free WhatsApp group. So if you know a person who is dealing with this marriages thing, so you can send our details to that number, and he'll add into one group. Then in that group people will post, like what I'm observing, I'm telling you. So if you have a boy details, you will post their details, and if you have a girl details, you will post the details. And if you like, you will so the boy, like the parents will not reach, will not reach out to others. So uncle or aunt of a girl or boy will reach out to other person, other side. So then they start their conversation if they like each other. So that's how it is going on. So what I feel is, and once they did that, it is only like they will get to know more about girl or boy's family by listening to others, because they are new to that place. Let's say I'm in Karimnagar, and if they want to know about a girl in Medak, so they'll not be sure, because they are not in Medak, right? So they conclude on so many things just by listening to people. వాళ్ళు మంచివారా అంటే ఫ్యామిలీ మంచిదే, అమ్మాయి మంచి చదువుకుంది, బీటెక్ దగ్గర చదువుకుంది, బికాస్ ఇట్ హ్యాపెన్ వెరీ రీసెంట్లీ. సో చదువుకుంది. సో లైక్ వి ఓన్లీ like maybe I don't know this is correct or not, but we decide on so many things based on this thoughts from others, like based on what people say, what their people say. Like, of course, people say if they like it, they say good. Mostly it is correct. Like they say it is, if they are good, they'll say that family is good and his father and mother are healthy, and they are young, they can manage these things, business in Tundi, so and everything. So yes, and if they like, they'll come to their home and everything, and out of it. So but I don't think like people are getting enough time to understand each other. So I feel like a boy should get at least 1 year or 6 months, say, to understand a girl. So then maybe they can think of whether they can commit for the rest of their lives. So because in this, like what's happening, they come and they see just by looking, and they'll talk for some time, and you are talking for about 1 hour in that marriage pelli chupulu, in that 1 hour, and you are deciding life for 40 years. So 1 hour conversation, maybe like even if you accept at that time, you can reject maybe 1 month later or 2 months later. But it like there are only rare cases once you accept, I think there and then and there అన్ని అయిపోతాయి. అన్ని like whether it be about dowry and everything, every discussion will takes place, and from then we will start coming to here and there. So and అయిపోతుంది, and dates and everything will be fixed. Only rare cases people accept it and cancel it, as far as I have seen so far. So that is the case. So how they are, like, they are not getting enough time to understand each other is what I feel. So like I'm thinking now, I should get at least 3 years maybe in the US, so I can understand a girl, so that I can make a decision. So I think matrimonies also should work the same. Like if you take details from a girl or a boy, you should combine them. Maybe I don't know how it works in India. I I don't know. So like if you allow boy and girl to spend time, 6 months, 6 months time, to understand each other, maybe uh, how people think of them, I don't know, but it should happen, because then only we can know who is who. Because just by seeing and just by listening from others uh, about own individual character, I think we don't get much clarity or much information or much character about particular person. So I always question the same. మా మమ్మీని కూడా అదే అడుగుతాను. So how can we know the character? We know about their these things, like we can know about their properties, we can know about their parents, but how we can know about their own individual character? Even if you ask people, they say good person. They don't know that person. Like వాళ్ళు చదువుకున్న దగ్గర తెలియదు, వాళ్ళు ఎక్కడ, they know about him when they were at their homes. నా గురించి మా ఊర్లో వాళ్ళని అడిగితే లైక్ దే సే గుడ్, బికాస్ ఊర్లో బాగానే ఉంటాం. బట్ ఇఫ్ ఐ గో టు అదర్ ప్లేస్, హౌ క్యాన్ దే నో, what how I behave with others? So if now I am going to US, how can they know I am behaving good with good the same I have been at my village with the people and in the US? So they may not know, but still people ask them, so they make decisions. So I don't think this system, like this particular deciding decision, the time of decision for marriage is not sufficient. So I think this should be changed, according to me. So I don't know whether it happens in India. It should happen, uh, even if it not happen, but I'll make it happen for myself. So I'll at least spend at least 3 months now. At these are my present thoughts. It may change over time, but but at present I'll take minimum 3 months to understand, or 6 months to understand a girl. So my next goal is that.
Wow, thank you so much, Rohit. You have talked on various things about marriage. Yeah, thank you so much. Um, Vivita, okay, before coming to you, I have this question to all the boys. This is put up by Shravan sir in the chat box. So, boys, like, how do you, I mean, what do you, I'm, okay. So, how, whether you will accept girls to pursue their goals and degrees after marriage? What is your perspective on that? Just keep thinking before Vivita expresses. I mean, I'll ask you all after Vivita gets expressed. I want all the 5 boys in the calls to express, okay? Go ahead, Vivita.
Thank you, Ashoka. So, when it comes to marriage, it is always a topic that is like being avoided or have been avoided in my home a lot. So like at a family paranga, we have had few experiences wherein the marriage didn't go well because there was no proper research about the other person who was to whom about the other person. Okay, so there was no proper research, and alanti things ainanduvalla emo there is some kind of a picture for marriage in our home which I don't really like. And what I realized recently was although I don't really like it, I was uh, so I have so like fixed myself into that kind of an image or that kind of a mental barriers thing anmata. So when these calls started, or when Shravan sir used to talk about marriages in like when we were in first year, second year, our time lo, uh, it was weird, but I knew that we should be talking about this, and it's still it felt like ఇదేనా ఏజ్ మాట్లాడటానికి, is this the right time? Don't you think this is the time to really concentrate on our careers and all those things? And uh, after having few sessions and few calls with Shravan sir, few very deep conversations with Shravan sir, that's when I realized that marriage is also not something that we do just for the sake of doing it. And it really needs to be done in a very good way as well, because uh, like in one of the write-ups it was there, right? So ante 75% of our life we'll be spending with our spouse, but 75 months కూడా మనం దాని గురించి ఆలోచించమని. that thing also, like it just struck me so much, అసలు నిజమే కదా అని అన్నట్టు. And when it comes to marriage, it not always means searching for the right person and all those things. It also means how you will be in, and preparing yourself to be in that marriage, to be with that person for your whole life. uh this one thing, like it just changed so many things for me. And I used to think like this, అరే నేను నా బెస్ట్ ఇస్తారా మ్యారేజ్ లో, నేను నా బెస్ట్ ఇస్తారా అని. కానీ టు బి ఏబుల్ టు గివ్ యువర్ బెస్ట్, యూ నీడ్ టు బి ద బెస్ట్ కదా అన్నట్టు అనిపించింది. You need to solve all those things inside you that are stopping you to have a good relationship with other persons. Like, so ante what I realized was, friends తో మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు there were few things that I was stopping myself from doing it, or I had some fears. I somehow felt like this will again translate to that marriage too. So before I get married, I really need to solve all these things, all these mental barriers, all these fears I have, so that I really be able to give my best to that person on it. And and the movies have filled this thing so much, right? So when someone else some person comes into your life, he or she will fix everything for you and it too. I recently realized that is not true all the time, or in fact that is not true. That is not how you should be there, or how you should approach your marriage. Marriage చేసుకునే ముందే you should solve all the things, all the problems and all the fears within you. You have to be able to give best to that person, and that's when you should get married అన్నట్టు అనిపించింది. Because if you have some traumas inside you, unknown traumas inside you, you wouldn't be able to give your best. And think about this, and 75% of your life you will be spending with that person. So నువ్వే నీ బెస్ట్ ఇవ్వకపోతే how can you expect the other person to give the best or do things for you? You should be also doing it. We often forget that we are also part of that relationship, and we also have to put in efforts in it. So that thing I felt like we should be conscious about it. So, yeah. This is my current perspective about marriages. Yeah.
Yeah, very well said, Anita. Thank you so much. Shravan sir, wanted to say something? Or was my question
Yeah.
wrong to voice?
Okay. Hey, Akshita. So there are, when we started our Thop E-Cell with 100 crores by the age of, 31, then people thought, financial independence by the age of 31, people thought we were crazy. Okay. And, but we continued, right? And many of you, when you started also, Sir is saying something, it's good, let us accept it. Did you believe it? I don't think so. Okay. But then the conversation went on and you started seeing things around the world. And recently you saw a video about how over $200 trillion is going to get created in 7 years. And you're like, I'm only asking for few million out of that, out of 200 trillion. And your brain probably is saying, it's not that hard anymore, right? Then if you look at when we started Thop as the branding word, it was people were thinking it was crazy that how could you use Thop? And then we said KFC, Apple. If these can be branded words, obviously Thop can be a branded word. So we started justifying and doing confirmation bias right here. So we are saying justifying our Thop is a branded word. So we are creating stories around how Thop can be a brand. And we did that. And then when we started talking about matrimony and that we'll have beautiful marriages, again, the cynicism within us starts creeping up, right? How can that be? Marriage is an art, marriage is not a science, marriage cannot be figured out, all of those things. I mean, but you had the same things for financial independence by the age of 31. I mean, did you think that was possible? Now, when I ask students, all of you, and say, hey, if you can go back to 14, age of 14, and do chemical engineering or psychology or any of those things, all of you are saying, yeah, absolutely, I can do it. But when I was telling my children went to university at 14, you were thinking, they must be geniuses. But now you're thinking you can do it too. See, even at that time, I told you, my children are not geniuses. I know you guys can do it too. And now you're seeing that you can do it. So it's the same thing with matrimony also. That's what I believe, is we are not understanding the architecture of marriage. There is an architecture for everything. So we are not understanding that architecture. We are not spending time to understand the architecture. We are not putting time. We are not putting effort. We are not putting heart to do that. So for the most important part of your life, you are not trying to understand the architecture. You are not trying to put time into it, which is something you should definitely think about, right? The most important part, I'm not putting time. And then yesterday, 2 days ago, I was talking to my son. I said, I don't know everything about, life. I don't know everything about relationships, nor do you. So is it okay if I give you my thoughts based upon my experiences, but at the same time, knowing that that is not truth? And he said, go ahead, Dad, I'm willing to listen. And then I said, what you are is a product of the ecosystem that happened for the last 18 years. Your parents, your brother, your friends, the relatives, the people you met in the last 18 years. He said, yes. And also then I said, what happens in the first 10 years of your life plays a major role in the rest of your life. And he said, yeah, I agree with that. I said, okay. Now, do you know what happened in the first 10 years of Laura's life? And he said, no. So we know the symptoms, we know the results of what happens, right? So if you are Ashrita is yet, is this quality, has this accomplishments and has this, those are the results of what our ecosystem is, what has happened in our past. The past, which includes our actions, the ecosystem, parents, all of that has created this certain results. So based on the results you can sort of extrapolate your past. So I said, based on the results of who Laura is, you can extrapolate the past. And you can see that there was no, based on what I see, she has no support. She has no guidance. Her confidence is low. And he's like, yeah, I do agree with that. I said, do you want a low confident wife? It's like, no. Another thing, your brother is highly educated. Your mother is highly educated with degrees. I have multiple degrees. You are going to have a degree. Sai is going to get married in an arranged marriage. So chances are he's going to have a girl who's going to have degrees. Your Laura doesn't have any degrees. Do you think, isn't she going to get worried, feel inferior with all these people's degrees? And he's like, yeah, it's not about the degrees. If she doesn't have the degrees, I'm fine with it. But does she have the confidence to be herself when everyone around her has degrees? That confidence is more important. And I said, do you know that I care about everyone? You know that, I told Sidhu. I want everyone to do well. So obviously, I want Laura to do well too, because she cares about you. She loves you and you feel happy with her. So obviously, I want Laura to do well. And he's like, yes, Daddy, I agree. So based on this, you know, I don't think, you know, don't you think you have to wait for any sexual interaction and marriage for several years? He said, Dad, I am definitely waiting. I'm thinking about waiting for another 6 to 7 years. I have, and I have thought about all of the things you're telling me, and I am worried too. And I said, oh, wow, I didn't know that a 18-year-old kid is thinking about all of those things. And I said, okay. So I said, is it not too much? I mean, you want Laura to do well, which I am happy that you want to do. But can you do it? One person trying to uplift a girl who might have not had the best support system. And he's like, yeah, it's very hard. So there you have to create an ecosystem for her to to be the best she can be, which will take time. And he's like, yeah, I agree with you. So, but so I was very happy that we had this honest conversation. And then I was sad a little bit that my son took on this big, gigantic job of uplifting someone by himself. And I felt that that responsibility will wear on him. I want him to be free. So I said, isn't this too much for an 18-year-old kid? And he said, but Dad, isn't that what responsibility is all about? And I said, yeah, but it's, I don't know. I don't want my son to be feeling that, that burden. And he's like, you're doing full-time studies, full-time job, and full-time this. I'm worried about your emotional well-being. He's like, Dad, I'm doing fine. No problem. I'll take care of everything. But there are many, the reason I told you all of this is to tell you, first of all, I believe that young people also think. And I think they think well also. I think they also are worried about their futures. They are not just jumping into, oh my God, I love this girl, I'm just going to. Yes, that happens. But there is also another part of that, which is like they also care. They want to have a good relationship. So I think that's one thing. And I'm just going to leave it there. There was another point which I wanted to say, but I don't think which is relevant at this time. So I'm going to leave it there.
So please leave it. I had many points to talk. I don't know. And when you are telling that, like you felt I mean, Sai dealing with all those things. I mean, Sidhu dealing with all those things. So I felt sir is getting biased with his son, but Sidhu told it in a very right way. Like he's feeling responsible towards it. Thank you so much, sir, for telling many things. Okay, Nikki, go ahead.
Victor, do you have any points?
I have a question.
Okay, I am first. Okay. Sorry. So regarding the question Shravan sir posted, uh, I think before that I would like to express what I think about a marriage or how I look at it. So generally, for me, in a I'm not getting words to express, but uh, I feel like we always this few points I recently have been hearing in from my mind or from myself was like we always need some space to express our vulnerabilities. So for us initially E-Cell was a kind of vulnerability where we know that people won't judge here. So we really uh, we need to work together to really go to the next level in terms of sharing the vulnerabilities. But how I look at as my future spouse is like I need to I should be able to share my vulnerabilities in a way that she understands that even though I know that uh, I might be judging something, but sometimes I need to express those thoughts because to move out of that mode. So I feel like sharing our thoughts and uh, I always feel that we always need someone who listen to us, who don't judge us, who understands our situation. And I really think in that lines, uh, our future partner would be someone who who really understands our current situation. And also, even though we know that we are kind of in different, like suppose say you take my example, I know that I am in a not good mode, and even though I'm conscious about the thoughts I am generating, I need someone who can just listen to me at that moment. So I was thinking about a marriage in that lines. And also generally when we think about when I look at a marriage thing, uh, it's kind of like uh, we can see. So to lead a happy, so to the end I always look at things like this, like at the end the only thing is like we living our life happily. So one important thing is like being able to survive with the basic needs we have. So I have the confidence that I can definitely uh, fulfill my basic needs and I can live with the basic needs. So what is the next thing? So to be able to lead a happy life, and in that journey it is known that we will get married. So we need someone who will be there for us, and who will and when I see about choosing someone, I look at like uh, it's more about how we see the imperfections, like a uh, uh, there is, I don't know how to express this point, but we can see differences, like a differences, and make it a complex thing and create problems, and we can even embrace the imperfections, right? So when I look at my future spouse, I always think in this lines like, how would I really embrace the imperfections she has? Because for me, I might not like something, but she might like it. So when I should accept that she is different, and I should embrace that difference. And I think that is how we can lead a happy life. And also, like regarding the question Shaman sir was mentioning, uh, I know I have few biases since due to the way by maybe because of the way I have been brought up or the society I was part of. But still, when I see, I don't really uh, at a heart really have that differences, even though I have some unconscious biases, but I don't have that difference between a boy and a girl. I see people as humans. So when the questions like, do you encourage a girl pursuing their career after marriage or whatever it is, I look at it more in terms of like what yes, having a emotional support is important. And I look at it in a way like, for me, even though I am choosing to be with someone for my life, I need to have my own, like if someone is not there, it's something like, if someone is not there, I should be happy with myself. I should be independently dependent on them. And that's how I feel like. So when I say independently dependent, I should have a career which I'm passionate about. And also, it's not like I just completely get lost in it. I should be dependent on someone for my emotional support or whatever it is. We are in a society where we are directly or indirectly dependent on someone, right? So that's how I look at it. For me, first I should love myself. That is, then eventually I can see how I can start loving other person. And it's more like I have these questions like, when I am seeing about my future partner after like maybe like I might get married in couple of years, and after that we might have a journey for the next rest of our lives. And at some point there will be a time where I might be leaving this world and she might be leaving this world. But then I still, I also think about the next part of that journey. So will I be happy without her? So how should I develop that thing? How should I develop that independently dependent thought process or way of life? I know I went zigzag way, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikhil, for expressing. Vivita, you have raised your.
I have a question, but before that, if anyone wants to express their questions or views in the same topic, then we can continue.
Okay, Deepthi Marapalli, go ahead.
Thank you, Akka. Thank you, Niklana, for your thoughts. Like, yeah, your thoughts also raised many questions in my mind. But then, what I wanted to tell is, like a year ago, when Shravan sir was telling about, when Shravan sir was telling that you need to know about your spouse for at least 5 years, so you need to start working now. I used to think that why should I even, why should I know about them, like for 5 years? Like, why should I literally thought, why should I waste my time about thinking marriage like for 5 whole years? Because I mean, marriage was the kind of topic which I was so uncomfortable with, and which was something which I thought would just happen, like it would just happen at the right time. I never thought much about marriage, like my marriage. So, but now when I actually started thinking about marriage, I understood the importance of how, like, knowing our spouse is really important. Like, yeah, there are marriages which happened knowing their like their partner in 1 month or so, but I don't know how they work. But then I this point really hit me hard. Like 70% of my life, like I'll be spending with my spouse. So why can't I think 70 months of his? Like 70% is a whole lot of life. I'll be spending all of my life, like almost all of my life with my spouse. So I need to really get to know them well to spend my whole, like, not to spend, but then to make the marriage beautiful, right? So yeah, but then I still have many questions. Um, I don't know, like starting with what if, like, and also I used to think in this way, like I used to think about how others should, how my spouse should treat me, instead of the like I should think the same too, right? But I used to think the other way always. But then yeah, so my question is like, I forgot my question. I'll get back. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you, Deepthi. Chandan, go ahead.
One second. It was nice to listen to you all. The way you all thinking about marriages, so big, and yeah, you're really thinking a lot. Like just comparing myself, like you have really a good perspective. I have been thinking good in a good way. I appreciate that. And regarding marriage, sometimes I really have a thoughts like, why should I really marry? Uh, and yeah, and but I whenever I think about the marriage, I only think about the marriage day. That's it. I just only crave for that. Never thought in those lines of how can we have a how can we create a life after marriage? How can we make a happy life for both of them? Very less time, and uh, and in my family, my dad is always about worry about marriages. Like he's always worry about the marriages in his locality, like in his community and his localities. Like boys are not getting married, uh, and he always talks about that to the people surrounded by him. And the question which Shravan sir asked here, um, absolutely, I'll support them if they want to pursue higher degrees. And I'm seeing in like it has become so normal for me. Like as I'm doing some dissertation thing at IICT, there are all the girls who are already married and they are pursuing their PhD and MTech, something like that, after marriage only. And the question which Sir has asked, I am thinking it will be irrelevant after 5 years or 10 years from now. Yeah.
Thank you, Chandan. Irfan, go ahead.
Yes, actually, it's sort of question. I want to explain the question. What is that? Usually, everyone say that if he'll get married, he will be settled. I don't know why they say if he marry, then he'll get settled or get into track of whatever the life. So how he will get that thing after the marriage? Why before the marriage he can't do anything? It's a question or it's a thought. I don't know. Uh, I'm sweet 16 to think about the marriage. I don't know why they used to tell if he'll get married, he'll be getting to a track and what do you say? He'll be more responsible. I don't know why this is a thought or question. I don't know. I just want to tell.
Yeah, thank you, Irfan, for putting up this question.
Behind this,
Maybe
sorry. Uh,
Irfan. Okay, so I don't know about exactly what did they meant about settling, but for me, maybe they are telling it in this way. See, some 25 years of life, we are with our parents, and that is one part of our life. And for the next rest of the life, we would have our future partner to be with us for the next whole life. So maybe in that way, they when they tell that you are going to get set, I mean, you will be settled once your marriage is done. I feel they meant that, like for the next, I mean, the future partner will complete our life for the next part of our life. Maybe that I feel they meant that. I don't know if Shravan sir or anyone want to express. You can. Okay, let us go with Vivita's question. Come on, Vivita.
Thank you, Ashoka. Irfan, like that is a very valid question because yes, we are being asked or we are being told about settlement so much. My question is, see, we have seen a scenario wherein I mean where Shan said about Sidhu and Laura, right? Wherein one partner needs lot of push and support by the other partner. Uh, it's not like they need it, but something that it should be there like that. But there are also cases where there are also scenarios wherein both the people are really independent of each other. So how do we create that independently dependent ecosystem in that case to have a good marriage? Because I feel if we are not being independently dependent on each other, we are not experiencing the marriage magic of marriage. So my question is, how do we create that independently dependent environment?
Yes. Wow.
Ashita, shall I give a couple of quick thoughts on that
Yes,
to
yes.
Vivita's question?
Yes, go
So,
ahead.
first, it takes time. Okay, um, there has to be a lot of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Right, all that has to happen. Unlearning, learning, and relearning. Yeah, unlearning and relearning, basically. Okay, so you have to. The transparency has to happen. The trust has to happen between the two, and then you have to go on trying to figure out how to remove um, the noise that is all around you. Your parents, his parents, they'll all be playing a role trying to influence their opinions. And you have to listen, care about their opinions, and then still formulate your opinions. Because if you try to be like them, the society will not change, right? So even your parents have changed. Even though they say all these things, they rebelled against their parents. Okay, that's a normal thing every parents have done. So being understanding of that, and so it takes time, but you have the ecosystem, and so you just have to that the person whom you're going to marry, you have to tell that person, hey, the first 5 years of our life, we are really going to be let us really be honest with each other, let us be transparent with each other, And how, any question you have, talk to me, tell me. If you feel uncomfortable about something, tell me. And the more they, instead of they thinking about their problem, they say in their head, they call you and tell you, that will help you. So this is like, short way to develop that independently dependent relationship.
Thank you, sir. And Viveka, thank you so much for bringing that point of independently dependent. So when I hear about independently dependent in marriage life, I used to feel why should that be in marriage too? Because independently dependent, I did not understand. Like marriage is something that is between two people. Then even in that, why should they have to be independent? Like dependency is the main thing of a marriage, and again why in that too independent. But okay, I'm just trying to understand about independently dependent nature in Surya Bhargavi akka, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, okay, I'll talk in another call. I just want to think for some more time and then call it next. Talk in next call.
Sure. Okay. Wow. That was a very great and very good start for our Thop Matrimony sessions. And it was very nice listening to all of your thoughts about marriage. But today we can only hear few of you. Let us have these conversations in our next calls too, and develop our mindset about marriage and see with a different perspective on marriage. Meet you all next time. Thank you everyone for expressing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashoka.
Thank you, Vivita.